curious, the edges of the known world were populated by monsters, gods, and a society of formidable fighters known as the Amazons. According to classical lore, these were fierce warrior women who governed themselves, completely free of any permanent male presence. In a society where strict rules confined a woman's life entirely to domestic deities, the idea of an independent, self-sustaining female civilization directly clashed with established Greek norms. Storytellers needed an adversary worthy of their greatest champions. So they elevated these independent women into the ultimate martial rivals for Greece's most revered heroes. This ancient Greek pottery depicts an Amazon in close-quarters combat with a hoplite, showing how ingrained this conflict was. Looking closely, we see queens like Hippolyta and Penthesilea commanding armies, matching the bravery of Achilles, Theseus, and Heracles, obsessed with them, viewing these women with a potent mix of admiration and fear. Yet, as antiquity faded into the modern era, historians wrote the Amazons off as pure fantasy. Moving away from the Aegean Sea, we follow trade routes northeast toward the plains of Eastern Europe and the Black Sea. To the Greeks, this sprawling steppe was a dangerous frontier, occupied by nomadic cultures completely alien to Mediterranean city-states. This is a marble bust of Herodotus, an early Greek historian who provides some of our first documented observations of these territories, pulling the narrative out of poetry and into the historical record. Herodotus recorded his encounters with the Scythians, a complex network of nomadic tribes that completely dominated the harsh eastern steppes. He wrote down something that shocked his contemporaries. Scythian women did not stay in camp. They rode horses, hunted on the plains, and fought in active combat right alongside the men of their tribes. Back in Athens, a woman of status was kept out of public life and restricted to the home. The sight of a heavily armed woman on horseback was entirely foreign to a Greek traveler. The historical consensus is that these real-world encounters with fiercely independent Scythian horsewomen provided the factual foundation that eventually grew into the towering myth of the Amazons. For centuries, the connection between Scythian women and the Amazons remained a theory. Then, modern archaeological excavations around the Black Sea started actively turning up physical evidence. This image shows excavated stone box grave sites containing human skeletons. Researchers initially assumed the remains belonged to men, until DNA testing proved they were female. Buried alongside them were iron swords, daggers, heavy armor, and intricate horse-riding equipment, proving they were active combatants. Forensic analysis of the bones confirmed a brutal reality. The skeletons showed blunt force trauma, arrow wounds, and structural adaptations in the femurs caused by a lifetime of constant horseback riding. This intricate Scythian gold pectoral highlights the highly sophisticated, animal-centric culture these fighters belonged to, demonstrating their complete mastery of the harsh steppe environment. The weapons, the battle scars, and the equestrian gear provide undeniable physical proof. The terrifying warrior women that haunted the Greek imagination actually existed. Unearthing these graves finally proved the physical reality of the fighters, but it also opened up a massive void in our historical timeline. We still lack the true scale of their influence. Did these tribes migrate and conquer vast new territories, or did their populations quietly disperse into the sweeping history of the Eurasian steppes? Today, we only have fragmented traces of their existence, scattered pieces of folklore, and the silent artifacts pulled from burial mounds. Finding the graves was merely the prologue. The ultimate fate and true identity of the real Amazons remains an active, ongoing investigation. Centuries after the classical world faded, the legend of the Amazons reappeared. As European explorers pushed across the Atlantic, they brought the ancient stories of warrior women with them. These adventurers traveled to distant lands to acquire wealth, but they also sought to find physical proof of their oldest cultural myths in the uncharted territories of the New World. In the 16th century, a Spanish expedition led by Francisco de Orellana navigated deep into the massive, unnamed river systems of the South American continent. Orellana returned from the interior with a specific claim. His men had engaged in fierce combat with local tribes led entirely by female warriors. He described defenders of such skill and ferocity that the Spanish became convinced they had finally found the legendary civilization. The intensity of the attack reinforced the belief that the ancient stories were true. Orellana's reports successfully transplanted a 2,000-year-old Eurasian myth into the physical landscape of South America. Because of Francisco de Orellana's astonishing reports of these fierce female fighters, the vast winding waterway was officially named the Amazon River. The mist-covered canopy and untamed terrain provided a setting where Europeans could project their own legends onto a world they didn't yet understand. The naming convention took hold quickly, and the myth was permanently inscribed onto European cartography. Mapmakers etched the name Amazones into the interior of the continent, marking the physical territory where they believed the warriors lived. Today, historians argue these explorers misinterpreted indigenous tribal structures, where men and women fought side by side. This theory suggests that profound cultural misunderstandings caused the Spanish to view ordinary indigenous life through the specific lens of Greek mythology. While the South American sightings were likely a projection of European expectations, the belief in these encounters permanently embedded the Amazons into the global imagination. To find the historical basis for warrior women, we have to look away from the jungle, and instead look back to the vast Eurasian steppes, the ancestral home of the Scythian nomads. Excavations of these nomadic burial mounds have uncovered skeletal remains that prove women in these societies participated in hunting and warfare. These graves contained weapons and gold artifacts, showing the high status and martial focus of these women, confirming their active roles in combat and leadership. While the Spanish explorers were searching in the wrong hemisphere, archaeology has confirmed that the ancient myth they carried with them was inspired by a real culture in Eurasia. The accuracy of Orellana's specific report matters less than the legend's ability to adapt as it moved across the globe. The story evolved from a 16th-century exploration into a subject of modern archaeological and historical study. The Amazon archetype has become a cultural symbol, representing independence, physical strength, and equality. From the shores of the Black Sea to the rainforests of the South, the story of these warrior women bridges the gap between ancient storytelling and historical possibility.